Thank you very much. Very distinguished excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I think it's a very important occasion, not only for the celebration of the birthday, but I can see here a collection of Nigeria itself, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I'm so happy that we are all here. I hope before we leave, we can have a consensus of how to fix our country. I will go straight to the problem. The problem, we all are agreed that democracy is receding, democracy is not delivering, and therefore, if we go at this rate, on this trajectory, democracy is not sustainable. Therefore, what exactly are the problems? I think the major problem is that first, the political parties, which are the foundation of democracy, they have no content, they have no conscience, and they have no courage. You look, just take any party. What does it convey to you? Where is the big idea? What is that thing that this party represents in terms of the future of this country? You have collection of big men in parties, but you can't find the big idea. So what is the big idea? What is it that really, because countries that have developed, you have mentioned a few of them, South Korea in the 60s was the second poorest country in the world. Within just 3 decades, it was on the cutting edge of technology because it has developed a big idea that it was pursuing. The same with Japan, the same with Singapore, the same with every country that has made development. Where is that big idea? We have parties, we have big men, but we don't have big idea. And these parties, like I said, they have no content, they have no conscience, they have no courage. The second thing is that the the popular will, which is expressed in electoral processes, has been subverted. It is like INEC is precisely there to rig elections rather than to conduct elections. And therefore, if you cannot conduct elections, you might as well forget about democracy, because people cannot continue to be fooled. We know what happens. Last election, people were waiting for INEC to address the issues raised. What happened? In the middle of the night, there was an announcement of a result. The country was asleep, and people just disappeared. Do we want to go and repeat the same thing again? So the popular will has to be asserted. It has to be respected. If we are not, then we are not going to have a democracy. The third and very important point, moderator, is the social contract. This, democracy is sustained by a social contract. We are, as citizens, we agree to be law-abiding, we agree to listen to government, we agree to do everything to pay our taxes, precisely because the government has undertaken to provide for our security and for our welfare. And this is very clear in our Constitution. Ask yourself today, where is the security? Where is the welfare? Poverty has more than doubled. Insecurity has gone to to levels unprecedented and in fact inconceivable 25 years ago. We have nothing to say that we have gained from democracy. So on what basis should we have government? If we as citizens have obeyed the laws, have paid our taxes, and government cannot protect us, what is the reason for why government is there? Because it has lost. Now, what are the solutions? Very quickly. I think we have to first find a big idea. And this is tied to the issues that have been raised of elite consensus. This is the elite of the country. What is our consensus? Where do we want our country to be in 25 years? And what do we need to do to get it there? There is no consensus. Everybody wants his own tribesman, to be president, which is the most stupid idea that I find in the 21st century. Because it's like elites taking turns to destroy their own country. If you ask yourself, the current regime what is the consensus? It's just talking about my chance, my opportunity. I don't know if my turn, right? So we are taking turns to destroy our country. So the most important step, I think, is to have a consensus. Where do we want this country to be? The second, I think, is to make sure that we have developed metric for measuring governance. One of the ministers in this government once said that one of their achievements that they are giving a lot of money to governors, far more money than they ever had. I thought that's just a stupid idea, because first you have to value the currency, so that money doesn't mean anything. Secondly, the distribution formula is not your own action. It's something that has already been decided. So where is the work that you have done? So they are getting away with these things because we have no agreed metrics to measure governance. Members of the National Assembly, I'm happy a lot of you are here, are doing things that are not really your job. Buying wheelbarrows and building this and this kind of thing, empowerment, is the job of the executive. Your own is to stay and do good legislation for the good governance of this country. You have abandoned this. Look at what is happening in the country. We have kept quiet. We are all here. Why are you silent? Americans are coming. Where is the agreement? What has happened to us? Where are you? Are you sleeping? What is happening?
Okay.
The next most important thing, Kyle, if you please, is criteria for leadership. At the moment, this country has no criteria for leadership. And what happens if you don't have criteria for leadership? Crooks and criminals will find their way. So we have to have the criteria that is in the Constitution is not criteria for, it's a criteria for eligibility. We have to develop a criteria for suitability. We cannot confuse eligibility with suitability. We have to. If the Constitution has not done so, the political parties will have to determine that anybody seeking to be president or seeking to be governor or seeking to be chairman of local government in our party must meet A, B, C, D requirements. Requirements of character, requirement of competence, requirement of courage. That courage of conviction that allows you to do the right thing when you know this is the right thing, not to bother about any other thing. Last thing, this country, and I think my friend Pat Otomi, Professor Pat Otomi made this point, and this is the last point I'm closing with. You see, in the next 25 years, this country is going to be over 400 million. And this country is going to be the third largest country in the world in terms of population, if you look at United Nations projection, right? In the next 25 years, there is going to be a world water crisis. Africa will be the only continent with sufficient fresh water to feed itself and to feed the rest of the world. If you look at the scramble for rare earth metals, you know, there is a lot. We need more than ever before the kind of government that can really stand its ground, that can really lead not only Nigeria but Africa. Africa is waiting for Nigeria to provide leadership. You all know what Nelson Mandela said. So with this thing coming, the conversation around our politics should be, how do you feed this growing population? How do you house them? How do you provide education? How do you provide health care? How do you provide for this growing population? The conversation I find among politicians is which tribe is going to take its stand, which part of the country is going to, who are we going to. This is the kind of thing that is destroying democracy. We have to wake up to the reality. We have to realize that in the 21st century, knowledge is the greatest.